Hello students, now we will start with new topic, that is importance of biodiversity. Ecologists said that where there is more biodiversity in a particular geographical area or in an ecosystem, then the community present there is considered to be stable and given a term like stable community. Ecologists believed that more biodiversity leads to formation of stable community. This stable community is resistant to disturbances, and also this stable community is resistant to invasion by alien species. Next, another scientist called David Helmuth. He said that where there is more biodiversity, it means year by year the variations or the mutations like processes are very less in that biodiversity. He said that in more biodiversity, species containing communities year by year there is less variations. Next, other ecologist David Tillman. He said that where there is more biodiversity, there will be more yield. Other person from Stanford University called as Stanford ecologist, he gave an hypothesis called as RIVET hypothesis, where species richness or richness in biodiversity is essential for all the organisms in an ecosystem. There, very few species if are extincted, then what happens? He said that, we'll write his name, Paul Ehrlich, a Stanford ecologist, said that from a rich biodiversity ecosystem, if few species types are extincted, then what happens? He also gave a question like, if this continues, this year 1 or 2 species became extincted, in the next continuity year again 1 or 2 will be extincted. If that happens also, what will happen to the ecosystem and the biodiversity in that particular area? Answer is explained with the help of RIVET hypothesis. RIVET hypothesis, which is given by Paul Ehrlich. He explained that if every time one species or two species are extincted, then nothing happens. A minor change will not disturb the ecosystem. But if the same process continues year by year or season by season, then what happens? Then there will be a drastic change in the ecosystem existence, and there will be drastic change in the biodiversity in that particular ecosystem, and mostly we will lose many important species, and total ecosystem may get crash at one particular time period. This was explained by Paul Ehrlich. He considered each species as a bolt. That bolt only we are telling as a rivet, poppet. If every passenger in an aeroplane takes out one bolt, finally the aeroplane gets crashed. The same way, if every time one species is extincted, then after particular time period, ecosystem will be crashed. This is the hint, or we can say this is one explanation given by Paul Ehrlich regarding the species existence. We can say this one as major damage. If only one or two species are extincted, then it will be considered as a minor damage. If one or two species are extincted, then it will be minor damage. So this is the explanation given by Paul Ehrlich. Next is causes and the loss of biodiversity. We can say the major cause of loss of biodiversity is by human invasion of the ecosystems. On the land, humans are residing in one particular area. Means they have occupied many lands and many ecosystems for their survival, like polar regions, deserts, temperate regions, etc. All the ecosystems are occupied by human beings. But still, naturally, there was some particular geographical area for the existing wild animals and also some of the aquatic organisms. But when humans started occupying all the other types of ecosystems where these wild animals are being survived, then there was created a threat to the existing wild animals of that particular ecosystem. This is only because of human invasion of the ecosystems that are meant for wild animals. In different areas. We can see one example. that is, humans occupied tropical Pacific islands. It created the extinction of 2000 species of native birds. We can take this one as an example. When humans occupied tropical Pacific islands, it led to extinction of 2000 species of native birds and also 338 species varieties of vertebrates. Next, 359 species varieties of invertebrates. Next, 87 species varieties of plants. All this extinction happened in a period of 500 years only. In last 20 years, there was disappearance of 27 species. Next is reasons of loss of biodiversity. It is explained under few headings like habitat loss, fragmentation, over-exploitation, and invasion of alien species. First one, we will start with habitat loss. This habitat loss, it is considered as the major loss that comes from the loss of tropical rainforest. Is the major or main loss of tropical rainforest. When humans started occupying that Amazon forest also for the cultivation of soya bean. So, humans started removing some part of Amazon and cultivated soya bean there. And also why the soya bean is cultivated there only in Amazon? If soya bean is cultivated in the grasslands, then cattle will not get sufficient grass for grazing. So for that, they did not cultivate soya bean in the grasslands and they brought the seeds here and used Amazon forest for cultivating soya bean. So this total cultivation of soya bean is to protect grasslands which provide sufficient food for grazing cattle. This Amazon area, which is considered as a tropical rainforest area, they cover 14% of Earth's land. Next reason is fragmentation. Second one, fragmentation. Now, basically, wild animals has to be existed in their particular habitat like forests and everything. But we are splitting those forests where wild animals are residing into bits by constructing meanwhile roads, etc. And we are making them into small pieces. But basically, Wild animals are habituated to live in a widespread area, which is very suitable for them to roam here and there and to be existed on the earth. But we are splitting them into small pieces, so that what happens, some wild animals may not survive in that small specific area, and they are now considered as a threatened species. When humans started invading the forests by constructing roads, etc., they are splitting large geographical area into pieces. Next is over-exploitation. Under this over-exploitation, using natural resources more than the required, some of the organisms in that particular geographical area got extincted by now. When humans started using more natural resources than the required, then some organisms like dodo bird, Stellar's sea cow, passenger's pigeon, these few types of organisms got extincted. Its scientific name is Rufus. This dodo bird got extincted because it was killed for its meat. Next, coming to Stellar's sea cow. Its scientific name is Hydrodamys gigas. Next, it was killed for its fur. Killed for meat and skin. Next is passenger's pigeon. Its scientific name is Ectopistis migratorius. This was also killed for meat. Next is invention of alien species. Under this, what are alien species? Alien species means foreign species. Here we have many examples that are present around us. That is Parthenium plant, which we also call as carrot grass also. Examples of alien species are Parthenium plant, that we also call as carrot grass. Next, another example, Nile perch. This Nile perch, when it was introduced into Queen Victoria Lake, it got extincted, means this Nile perch has eaten nearly 200 species of cichlid fishes. What are cichlid fishes? Cichlid fishes are small colored aquarium fishes like fishes. So Queen Victoria Lake, it was spreaded with beautiful colorful fishes, small fishes, when Nile perch was introduced. What is nearly the measurement of Nile perch? It is nearly 1.5 to 2 meters in length, like this. This much of size will be of Nile perch. Sometimes it can be more than that also. When introduced into Victoria Lake, it caused extinction of nearly 200 species, types of cichlid fishes. Next, another example is lantana plant, which gives colorful flowers. Next, water hyacinth, which is also called as Eichhornia. We also call this one as Bengal terror or terror of Bengal. Next, so these are few examples. Another example is there, that is African catfish. Illegal introduction of African catfishes caused extinction or loss of local catfishes. So African catfish, scientific name is Clarius garyiopinus. Zoological Clarius garyiopinus.